when the US Supreme Court's probably most conservative justice, Associate Justice Antonin Scalia, passed away on a holiday trip to Texas in February 2016, aged 79, some wild conspiracy theories were quickly circulating on the internet. Not only those put forward by Alex Jones, one of the most notorious US conspiracy theorists, but also other ones. Because no autopsy was performed, and by telephone then a medical doctor concluded that Justice Scalia had suffered some kind of sudden illness during his sleep that morning and had died of natural causes. Given his medical history, health and medical history, this is the likeliest cause of his death. What did then US President Barack Obama, as an unpopular two-term lame duck or soon-to-be lame duck president, have to gain by allegedly assassinating him? I don't think anything. Just that President Obama and Justice Scalia were clearly diametrically opposed ideologically on many issues did not mean that then President Obama allegedly assassinated Justice Scalia. I'm now going to list the severe life-threatening or potentially life-threatening health conditions that he suffered from at the time of his death, and this is not even a complete list. For one thing, he was, especially in his last years, seriously or severely overweight, as was shown by his formidable double chin. For another, shortly before his death, his doctor had concluded that he was too weak to have a corrective surgery on one of his shoulders. The third one had to do with his lifestyle. He smoked, which of course worsened his health. Fourth, he suffered from diabetes. Fifth, he had a high blood pressure. Sixth, he suffered from a related health condition, hypertension. Seventh, he suffered from sleep apnea. And eighth, he had a coronary heart disease. And we could, of course, add a ninth factor. He was already in his late 70s. When people reach their late 70s, their likelihood of passing away, even quietly without any actual medical crisis, like a sudden heart attack or stroke, or in the case of diabetic people, an insulin shock or something like that, is high. Because, well, God has designed the human body to only function a certain number of years. Of course, it wildly and widely differs how many years exactly it functions. But when people are in their 70s and 80s, they start dying more quickly, even in the advanced, medically advanced, industrialized countries like the United States. One reason for these conspiracy theories probably was the fact that the late Justice Scalia had been reluctant to discuss his health. But just that a person, a public figure like a Supreme Court's justice, is reluctant to discuss his or her health publicly is no guarantee that he or she is in a good enough health to effectively perform his or her tasks. I think that Justice Scalia's death should prompt a commonsensical action, and I think quite many members of the American public would approve. There should be a serious debate about establishing a mandatory or compulsory retirement age for the US Supreme Court's justices, and why not even for the state and municipal courts justices. The northern neighbor of the United States, Canada, requires its judges to retire at age 75, which in my opinion is a sensible policy. At the very least, no one should be required to serve as a judge past the age of 75. In my opinion, a mandatory retirement age of 80 would be a reasonable one, because there are justices who retire even before that age, such as the former U.S. Supreme Court Associate Justice David Souter. If there was a conspiracy to kill Antonin Scalia, it seems that his family was involved, because his family refused or acquiesced in the fact, in the medical doctor's decision not to perform an autopsy. Well, given Justice Scalia's multiple serious and/or life-threatening health conditions, which I outlined earlier, and that wasn't even a complete list of them, it is most likely that he died of natural causes. Just that no human being was physically present when he died, just that the doctor refused to perform an autopsy, is no valid reason to claim that he was assassinated. And given already his advanced age, the official explanation that he died of apparent natural causes is by far the most credible one.